Uncovered my fiancé's affair on his phone, laughed at his insecurity when he thought I was cheating, now plotting my escape. I have been suspicious for a long time, but I have never had any real evidence and have always just brushed off my feeling as insecurities, as I've been cheated on before. My fiancé and I have an outstanding relationship. I have never been happier in my life. We almost never fight. We spend every available moment together. We have lived together for 2 years and adopted 2 dogs together. We still talk and laugh every single day like schoolchildren. Our fights are very small things that I think happens to everyone who moves in together: dishes, laundry, splitting chores evenly, etc. We talk through all our problems. We have great sex constantly. So what the fuck went wrong? Since the beginning of our relationship, my fiancé has always been protective of his phone. It isn't much of an exaggeration to say that I don't even think I know what his phone looks like. I couldn't tell you confidently what brand it is or what color it is. He would never answer texts or calls in my presence and always stated that it's simply because he's trying to be respectful and doesn't want to be one of those couples who are sucked into their phones instead of enjoying each other's company. I understood and accepted this until we moved in together, and he still would hardly ever use his phone around me, and when he did, he would turn it the other way so that I couldn't see the screen. He always claimed he wasn't doing this, however, and still said he's just trying to be respectful but that he'll try to be better about it. There have been a few times where I have walked into the room from behind him while he's been on his phone, and I could swear I saw him very quickly switching apps before putting his phone down/away. He's always denied this as well. He never tells me who he's talking to, or says it's his parents or best friend who both live in his home country, so I have no one to ask to confirm who he's talking to. He's always super supportive and reassuring and tells me that it's just him being weird and quirky, but he promises that he's not being inappropriate. Contrary to all of this, I am very open with my phone. I always am comfortable showing him what I'm watching or who I'm texting. I will hand him my phone to Google something for me or do whatever the hell. I try to respect his privacy because I definitely feel that it is important, but at the same time, I have always felt that he was being a little sketchy. I have never been one to snoop either, so that never occurred to me, and I've just accepted that my fiancé just really values his privacy, and I need to accept that, because he has given me no reason to distrust him. Until yesterday. I don't know what came over me. I'm telling you, it was like I was possessed. It was an urge like nothing I've ever felt before. Nothing happened. Nothing was different. It was a normal day, a day off for both of us, cuddling on the couch and watching TV. I don't know why I did it. But he went to take a shower and left his phone on the table, and I did it. Snatched it right up, guessed his passcode, and went through every single thing: text messages, call log, email, photo albums, even his notepad. And I found it. I found everything. A full-blown fucking affair that's been going on as far back as I looked, which was September. Nothing was hidden. He's been fucking her at her house, all over our house, in our car, in her car, at her parents' house. Yeah, he met her family. They love him, apparently. That's sweet. He fucked her in the brand new bed I bought for our new house before we even fucked in it, and also joked about christening our new house with her. It's mostly been happening while I've been at work. He tells her he loves her, that he's never been happier with anyone else, that he wants to marry her and have babies with her and the whole 9 fucking yards. And, yes, she knows about me. They spend quite a bit of time talking about how boring, fat, and ugly I am, and how tired he is of dragging along through life with me, and how much better she is than me. How he's going to get out of this hellhole with me and take both of our dogs and ride off into the sunset with her. She also sounds surprisingly, and hilariously, insecure for being the woman who's been fucking my fiancé in my bed for God knows how long. Inhales deeply projection. I hope my fiancé is as good at reassuring her as he was at reassuring me. Fucking kill me. I put his phone down and quietly waited. When he came out and greeted me with his usual "Hi babe," I suddenly felt like I had swallowed an entire bucket of dicks and didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. I was ready to scream and shout and confront and point fingers and cry. Maybe break some shit. But when he came out, I didn't do anything. He plopped on the couch next to me and just asked me if I was ready to continue our show, and we just went about the rest of our day. I haven't slept since. I projectile vomited last night because I realized that the spot on the sheets a couple weeks ago that he told me was one of our dogs uncharacteristically pissing the bed might be. Oh no. Jesus fucking Christ. He hasn't even noticed that something is up, and I can't even believe that I've hidden it so well. I haven't even cried yet. I'm just so shocked, and I'm not sure how to go about this. I honestly want to just start moving out. I don't know if I want to say anything yet. It'll take a while because of money and stuff, but I don't know. I just don't know. I called my landlord today. She was super happy to hear from me. We have a good relationship. I'm currently living in my second rental of hers, and I ended up breaking down and telling her everything that was going on. She immediately told me to swing by. I texted my fiancé and told him that I was working a little late, which isn't unusual. I sometimes get stuck working 16-hour shifts, life of an ER vet, screaming internally. My landlord immediately started talking to me about other properties she has, but most of them won't be available until at least the summer. But, if I could hold out that long, she would be able to get me into one and wouldn't make me pay extra to break my lease, fill out an application, or pay her immediately for a security deposit. This is so extremely helpful, because most of my money goes towards bills and I wouldn't have a lot of wiggle room to save up for first month's rent, a security deposit, and the extra amount to break the lease. I agreed to her idea. Now, all I have to do is keep my composure and act my ass off for the next few months, and all of my savings will be going towards new furniture for my new place. When I got home, my fiancé was extremely concerned because he apparently tried calling me at work to ask me a question and they told him I had left. God damn it. He asked me why I didn't respond to his texts or calls. I lied and told him that it must have been when I was running something over to the other clinic that I work at, which is not unusual for me to do. He believed me. But not before asking for reassurance that I wasn't cheating on him. He told me that his mind immediately thought the worst and that I had lied and was off with someone else, and asked me to please just let him know if I'm going somewhere unexpected so that he doesn't worry. I lost it. I laughed so hard. He laughed with me, obviously not realizing that I was not laughing for the same reason he was. He hugged me tight, kissed me, and apologized for being insecure and said that he knows I would never do something like that. I felt so numb. I don't know how I'm going to keep this up. Edit, I decided to make this edit to clarify that I don't intend on staying in the house. I only meant that I do not intend to reveal any of my intentions up until I am secure in my new place. I have replied to many comments both here and on my original post that my plan is to either crash with friends or stay in a hotel once my exit plan is squared away, which will take at least a week or two to settle. I have been getting honestly a surprising amount of hate and disses questioning my mental state and also lecturing me for being terrible with finances, which is not true. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting me. Smile update 1. I followed the advice of a commenter and told my fiancé that I had been feeling ill, and that my doctor advised that we reassess my birth control situation and avoid intercourse for the time being. He was extremely supportive and made me soup when I got home and coddled me all day. How sweet. Gagged the same night, while he was asleep, I ninja'd his phone again. It turns out that this affair has been going on for about 6 months. I found that he and the mistress are currently arguing about me, which was super weird to witness by the way, considering that we don't even fight and have definitely never fought as viciously as this before. She is currently begging him to leave me and be with her. I also discovered that she left her own partner months ago to be with mine, around the time that my fiancé told her that he wanted to run off with her with my dogs in tow, as I mentioned in my first post. Surprisingly, or not at all because he's obviously a total puss, my fiancé has just told her that he now doesn't want to leave me. He told her that he does still love me and doesn't want to hurt me, and didn't mean what he said a few months ago but that he was just caught up in the moment. His last text to her last night was that he feels like a huge piece of shit and does not wish to further destroy our relationship. Yikes, too bad that he has already made his bed, and soon she will be able to have everything she wants and lie in it with him. I felt a little sad for the other woman. But it dissipated quickly, however, after seeing how much venom she spits upon my mere existence. She goes through his phone constantly and starts fights with him over how nice he is to me and how much better he apparently treats me than he does her. I swear, if you didn't know any of us and only read our messages, you would think that she is the betrayed partner who is trying to convince him to stop having an affair with me. It is absurd. Why be so committed to a trash can of a man who is not only cheating on his fiancée with you, but also, by your own words, doesn't even treat you well? I digress. I took screenshots of, everything. I was originally only going to take a few, but I ended up pretty much taking their entire message thread because I feel like everything ended up being juicy. There were some emails that I took as well, and also some pictures, not nudes, although I did unfortunately see those, of them together with the date and timestamp, many of them having been taken while I was at conferences out of town when he said he was just hanging out at home. I also notated her phone number and email address. I will likely never reach out to her, but just in case. Now that that's out of the way. Today, I received some amazing news. My landlord called and told me that one of her tenants has decided to not renew their lease and will be moving out. The house is kind of a mess, but I can move in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Originally, it was 3 months. Now I am literally scrambling to schedule my movers in time. I am shrieking with joy. I told her I didn't care. It could be a closet filled with 30 knife-wielding mutated rats suffering from explosive diarrhea. Please just let me have it. I will pay for that dangerous shit closet. I'm going in tomorrow to talk to her more about it and figure out exact dates and the financial situation. She's going to let me just pay half of the deposit upon move-in, and the other half later. My coworkers had also gotten back to me. Their landlord won't let them have another roommate, which we were kind of expecting, but they said that I could stay there for a couple nights anyway if I needed to. They, along with their boyfriends, will be coming with me on my moving day to help with my movers to make it as quick as possible. I have also decided that I'm going to take my couch and my bed, and we are going to burn the sheets and blankets in my new backyard at my housewarming/free at last party. My ex will return home one day with nowhere to sit nor sleep, and without my help with finances, it may be some time before he can replace the furniture. It's already almost over. I still might bail, make some excuse, and stay in a hotel for the next few weeks, just because I want to be out so badly. But it's almost over. I can almost taste it. Scheduling the movers made it feel so real and I felt as though I breathed my first breath in a week. I didn't realize how trapped I had felt, But I just kept making all these plans and coming up with solutions that led to me running into problem after problem. But now it's almost over. I will update again when I'm out completely. I have a weird feeling that this is going to blow up in my face somehow, because it has seemed too easy, and I feel too good despite what's happening to me, but I'm just being negative and anxious as usual. Thank you everybody for sticking by me, and especially all of you who have been here since this started. I really appreciate you. See, this last weekend, my ex confessed. I put this in quotations because it was a large Dutch oven full of steaming horse shit. I came home from work one morning and he was waiting for me, which is odd, because he's usually asleep. He said that we needed to talk. We sat down together and he told me his tall tale, that a woman he had met, his mistress, at his co-worker's wedding had been contacting him on and off for a few months after receiving his number from a mutual friend, and kept asking to meet because she found him attractive, and wanted to get to know him better. He had never responded to her flirtatious messages or requests to meet up, but would sometimes chat with her. Recently, he told her that he was flattered but was happily engaged, and asked her to stop contacting him because he didn't think they could be friends since she kept pursuing him and was getting progressively insistent. He stated that this woman then became angry and began threatening him and insulting him, like some typical nice girl shit or whatever, telling him that he'd lead her on. He apologized for never telling me, but he didn't think it was important because he had either ignored her or things were pretty innocent, but decided to tell me now because of her shocking reaction when he asked her to stop. He promised me that that was all that happened, and offered to show me the messages if I wanted to see them. I was quiet for a few minutes. He looked extremely worried and begged me to say something. My mind was racing and my heart was beating out of my chest. After every sentence he spoke, in my head I was saying, lie. Lie. Another lie. Pretty good lie, but still a lie. Lie. Wow, the truth? Nope, just kidding. Lie. I wanted to confront him, tell him what I knew, point in his face, show him the screenshots I took, scream at him. But again, I didn't do any of those things. Instead, I said that I was really disappointed and hurt that he kept this information from me, but I told him that I trusted him and did not need to see his phone. I asked him to please just continue to be honest with me from now on. My ex held me tightly, apologized many more times, promised to make it up to me, and continued to reassure me that he was being honest. He said he loved me and wanted to be with me forever and would never hurt me. I was his dream girl and he couldn't possibly be happier with me. I asked him if he was sure he had nothing else to tell me. He looked me in my eyes and said he didn't. He promised. I asked if he ever met up with her, platonically or otherwise. He said he only spoke with her and hung out with her briefly among others at the wedding. He was a groomsman and she a bridesmaid. I was at a conference. He also confessed that when he was worried that I had cheated on him a couple of weeks ago, he got extremely scared because it made him rack his brain trying to think of whether he had done something that would make me angry or cause me to stray, and that while he feels silly about it now for thinking that I had cheated, it had put the fear of God in him. For lack of a better phrase, he then felt super guilty and decided to come clean because even though I'm not cheating, he was so worried that he wants to make sure there is a clean slate. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to take a boiling hot shower and melt my skin off and then swim in a pool of lemon juice. I could not believe the balls on this slimy worm of a man. Either he ended things with the mistress and is expecting blowback and trying to cover for it now in case she reaches out to me, or she dumped him and he's trying to crawl back to me. Or maybe he's still seeing her. I don't know. Not my problem anymore. I completely shut down. I was cold and distant. He noticed. He apologized to me every day, asking me if I was still mad. He offered many times to show me the messages to assure me that nothing else happened. He asked me if there was anything he could do to make me happy again. He told me he knew he deserved it for not coming forward sooner, but he promised he wasn't lying about anything. He was just being an idiot and didn't think it was important, but he sees now that it was and he would be just as upset if the tables were turned. He cried a few times. I brushed him off and told him I would get over it, and he just needed to give me time. He agreed. And then the day finally came, and I left. I moved into my new house yesterday. It was pretty uneventful, and even kind of fun. After I got the text from my ex confirming that he made it to work safely, we do this every day, my friends and their boyfriends came by to meet the movers with me, and we had my entire house cleared within 45 minutes. We laughed and joked the entire time. They assured me that they would be my bodyguards if my ex showed up. I scanned the house a few times before I left and felt very satisfied. The only things left are a dining table, a small TV, and an entertainment center in our bedroom that he bought, and of course all of his personal things. Other than that, everything else is gone. The remaining items in the house are only enough to fit into the smallest bedroom in the 3-bedroom home. My landlord came by before I left and we took pictures of everything together in case my ex tries to say I damaged anything. After much thought, I decided that I was not going to leave any of the screenshots that I took. However, I am still keeping them in case I need them. I wanted him to be reeling over what I may or may not know. I want him to relive the day he confessed and I hope he feels absolutely horrified when he realizes that I knew the entire time. Instead, I printed an email he sent me a few months ago, which was a very long ranting, lie, about how much he loved me, couldn't wait to marry me and have children with me and buy our first house together, and how lucky he was to have such a loyal, devoted, and hard-working partner. He detailed how he would never do anything to jeopardize our relationship. He sent me this email 3 days before the text messages between his mistress about how boring, fat, and ugly I was, and how he couldn't wait to run away with her and start their perfect lives together. I put this email into an envelope and wrote his mistress's name on the front of it. I left it on the kitchen counter, with my engagement ring and keys on top. I took one more look around and then shut the door on our home in this chapter of my life. When I got in my car, I cried for the first time since the day I first found the messages. I had to pull over and my friends comforted me while I cried my eyes out, snot bubbling, snorting, lip quivering, put Kim K to shame crying. My heart broke into a million pieces all at once. My friends pet my hair, held my hands, and cried with me too. They're so good to me and I'm so thankful that I finally decided to stop being so antisocial and reach out to them. The best thing that has come out of this situation was bonding with these two women. I don't think they'll ever be able to get rid of me now.
If you're reading this, J&A, I love you so much and I'm so grateful.
My new house is honestly incredible. My landlord made it sound like it was a wreck, but I should have known it wouldn't be too bad. She's kind of nitpicky. I didn't care for my old house too much. My ex loved it though and it suited us well, so it was okay and I was happy with it. But my new house is very cute, with a bigger backyard for my dogs and a better layout. The neighborhood is really cute, too. There are a few things that need to be fixed, but it's nothing major. I'm pretty much already settled in. I changed my number today. So far, it's been quiet. I hope it stays that way. Thank you again to everyone who has been here for me through this nightmare. Apparently my last post was removed for some reason, but since I hope this is the last time I have to post here, I am not going to bother asking for it to be restored or whatever. You all have been wonderful to me, and my heart is so full of your love and well wishes. I made it. Here's to starting new. See hi. First of all, I'm sorry that I haven't updated sooner. I very much appreciate the messages that I've gotten checking in on me. I'll say a few things, but police are involved now and there are things I won't comment on, but I felt that I owed you all an update after all the support you gave me. My ex found out where I live. I had been trying to be as careful as I can be. I cashed in all my vacation time from work, 3 weeks, and I mostly stayed home, but when I did go out, I didn't frequent my usual grocery stores, restaurants, or dog parks. I don't know how it happened. I have theories but they sound crazy and I'm just paranoid about everything. It had only been about 2.5 weeks after I moved into my new house. There were flowers and a letter on my doorstep. I didn't read the letter. I finally called my lawyer and told him everything, and handed over everything I had, including the video surveillance I had found of my ex casing my house. I had installed cameras in and around my home 2 days before the flowers and letter arrived. He had come in the middle of the night and tried all the doors and windows. I tried to file for a restraining order, but unfortunately, since he hadn't tried to harm me, it was thrown out. There wasn't anything else I could do in regards to that matter. I tried. No one would listen. It was quiet for a long time. I got really paranoid and started spending a lot of time at my friend's house, sometimes for long periods with my dogs in tow. I started to think maybe things were okay. Then one night, while I was walking up my driveway to the house, he caught up to me. I won't give any specific details about this part, but it was very violent. My house had been broken into before I arrived. Both of my dogs were attacked. They didn't make it. My neighbors called the police when they heard me screaming. Update 2. I'm still in the hospital. I've been here for a few weeks now, and I'm finally able to type this out without feeling like my entire body is going to collapse from exhaustion. The doctors say I'm lucky to be alive. I have multiple broken bones, a concussion, internal bleeding that required emergency surgery, and various other injuries that I won't detail here. My face is different now. I catch glimpses of myself in the reflection of my phone screen and sometimes I don't recognize who's looking back at me. The police have been incredibly supportive. They've stationed an officer outside my door 24/7 since I was admitted. My ex is in custody and has been denied bail. The charges are extensive: attempted murder, animal cruelty resulting in death, breaking and entering, stalking, and more that I can't remember right now. The detective handling my case visits me almost daily to check on me and update me on the proceedings. She's been gentle but straightforward, which I appreciate. My landlord visits often too. She brings me food that isn't hospital food, thank God, and sits with me for hours sometimes, just talking about nothing important. She's offered me another property once I'm released, one with a security system already installed and in a gated community. I haven't decided if I'll take it yet. Part of me wants to move to another state entirely, change my name, and start over. The other part of me is too angry to run. I dream about my dogs every night. Sometimes they're happy dreams where we're at the park or cuddling on the couch. Other times, I wake up screaming, reliving what I found when I walked into my house that night. The hospital staff has been understanding, but I know I've frightened the other patients with my nightmares. My therapist says this is normal, that trauma manifests in our sleep when we can't process it while awake. She says it will get better with time. I'm not sure I believe her. J and A visit me daily, sometimes together, sometimes separately. They've been collecting my mail, paying my bills, and keeping what's left of my life organized while I'm here. They brought me a framed photo of my dogs that now sits on my bedside table. I cry every time I look at it, but I can't bear to put it away. They're talking about adopting a rescue dog together and have asked if I'd help them choose one when I'm better. The thought of being around dogs again both terrifies and comforts me. My parents flew in from across the country as soon as they heard what happened. My mom hasn't left my side for more than a few hours at a time. She sleeps in the uncomfortable chair next to my bed and holds my hand when the pain gets too bad. My dad is quieter, but I catch him wiping away tears when he thinks I'm not looking. They want me to come home with them when I'm discharged, to heal in the house I grew up in. I'm considering it. The prosecutor has been to see me twice. She's confident in the case against my ex. There's overwhelming evidence, the surveillance footage, the break-in, the attack itself, and apparently a journal they found at his place detailing his plans to punish me for leaving him. She says I won't have to testify if I don't want to, but I think I need to. I need to look him in the eyes one more time and show him that he didn't break me, even though some days it feels like he did. The mistress reached out through my lawyer. She wants to meet, to apologize. I haven't decided if I'll see her. Part of me wants to scream at her, to make her look at what her choices helped cause. The rational part of me knows that she's not responsible for his actions, that she's likely a victim too in her own way. The detective told me she's cooperating fully with the investigation, providing texts and emails that show his escalating behavior and threats toward her as well. Yesterday, a package arrived at the hospital. It was from my veterinary colleagues. Inside was a beautiful wooden box with my dog's names engraved on it, filled with clay paw prints they had made for me before everything happened. I didn't know they had done this. I held those hardened impressions of their paws against my chest and sobbed until a nurse came in to check on me. I keep the box open on my table now, next to their photo. The physical therapist says I'm making good progress. I can walk short distances with assistance now. The pain is still intense, but it's different than it was before, less sharp, more of a constant ache. They're talking about discharging me next week if my progress continues. I'm not sure if I'm ready to face the world outside these hospital walls. In here, I'm safe. Out there, I don't know. My lawyer brought papers for me to sign yesterday, a civil suit against my ex. It won't bring back what I've lost, but it might help ensure he never has the resources to hurt anyone else again. I signed them without hesitation. She also mentioned that several domestic violence organizations have reached out, asking if I'd be willing to share my story once the criminal case is concluded. I'm not sure I'll ever be ready for that. Last night, I dreamt of a new house, with a new dog, not replacing the ones I lost, but honoring them by loving another. I woke up crying, but it was different this time. It felt like the first tiny crack in the wall of grief I've built around myself. My therapist says that's progress. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update. I've been discharged from the hospital for a while now, but recovery has been complicated. Physical therapy 3 times a week has become my new normal. The doctors say I'm making remarkable progress, but some days it doesn't feel that way. My left arm still doesn't fully extend, and I walk with a slight limp that becomes more pronounced when I'm tired. The scars are healing, though some will always be visible, especially the one that runs from my temple to my jaw. I've started wearing my hair differently to cover it, but sometimes I catch myself tracing it with my fingertips when I'm alone. I decided to move back to my hometown with my parents. The prosecutor advised it would be safer, putting distance between me and any connections my ex might have. My landlord was understanding. She even helped coordinate movers for the few belongings I wanted to keep. Most things I left behind. Too many memories. The trial is scheduled for next month. My lawyer says the evidence is overwhelming and that I shouldn't worry, but I still wake up in cold sweats thinking about facing him in court. The prosecutor has been preparing me for what to expect, how to respond to defense questioning, how to stay composed when they inevitably try to paint me as unstable or vindictive. She's good at her job, but nothing can fully prepare you for looking into the eyes of someone who tried to kill you. The nightmares have evolved. I no longer just dream about that night, now I dream about the courtroom, about him somehow being found not guilty, about him finding me again. My therapist says this is normal, that my brain is processing future fears alongside past trauma. We've been working on grounding techniques that sometimes help when the panic sets in. J and A still call me every week. They've adopted a rescue dog, a 3-legged pit bull mix named Chance who was found abandoned in a foreclosed home. They send me pictures and videos constantly. At first, seeing any dog would trigger flashbacks, but now I find myself smiling at Chance's antics. They've promised to visit next month before the trial begins. Last week, I did something I never thought I would do again. I visited an animal shelter. I didn't plan to. I was driving home from therapy and just turned into the parking lot. I sat in my car for 20 minutes before finding the courage to go inside. I didn't adopt anyone. I wasn't ready. But I did volunteer to help with administrative work, something I can do without directly interacting with the animals until I'm ready. The shelter director was so kind, didn't push me at all when I explained some of my situation. The mistress and I finally spoke. My lawyer arranged a video call. I wasn't ready to see her in person. She cried through most of it. Told me she had no idea how dangerous he was, that he'd started threatening her too when she tried to end things. She's providing testimony for the prosecution. I don't forgive her for the things she said about me, for participating in the affair, but I understand now that she was manipulated too. Not like me, but in her own way. She's in therapy now as well. My parents have been my rocks through all of this. Mom still hovers too much, checking on me multiple times during the night as if I might disappear. Dad has channeled his helplessness into action. He's installed a state-of-the-art security system in their house, complete with panic buttons in every room. He's also taken to cooking elaborate meals, something he never did before. I think it gives him a sense of control, of providing comfort in a tangible way. Yesterday, I received a package from my veterinary colleagues. Inside was a donation certificate. They've established a fund in my dog's names to help cover emergency veterinary costs for pets of domestic violence survivors. I sobbed for hours, but it was different this time. There was gratitude mixed with the grief. The wooden box with my dog's paw print sits on my nightstand. I still talk to them sometimes, especially on the bad days. I tell them about my progress, about the trial preparations, about how much I miss them. I know they're not here, but somehow it helps. My lawyer called this morning with news. They found journals in my ex's parents' house, dating back years. Apparently, there's evidence of concerning behavior long before we met. Previous girlfriends who suddenly moved away. Detailed fantasies about control and punishment. His parents claim they had no idea, that they never read his private writings, but my lawyer thinks they might have suspected something wasn't right. They're cooperating now, perhaps out of guilt or fear of being implicated themselves. The prosecutor says this strengthens our case even further, shows a pattern of behavior rather than a one-time violent outburst. She's confident, which helps me feel a little more confident too. Tomorrow I meet with a plastic surgeon to discuss options for the more visible scars. I'm not sure I want to erase them completely, they're part of my story now, but I'd like to have choices about how visible they are to the world. The doctor is supposed to be one of the best in the country for trauma reconstruction. My parents insisted on paying for it, despite my protests. Sometimes I still feel like I'm living someone else's life. Like this can't possibly be my reality. But then I look in the mirror, feel the ache in my hip when it rains, reach for my dogs who aren't there, and I know this is real. This happened to me. I'm still here. My therapist says healing isn't linear. There are good days and bad days, progress and setbacks. Today was mostly good. I walked a full mile without stopping. I laughed at something on TV without immediately feeling guilty for experiencing joy. I ate a full meal without feeling nauseated by flashbacks. Small victories, she calls them. Stepping stones on the path forward.